Hello and welcome to today's video. Well, I'm now off tour and I'm settling into my little world here in Sydney now. And as many of you would have known, when I was on tour, I only had a very small amount of pens with me. And I was looking forward to getting some of my other pens out of storage and inking them up. And so I grabbed a few of them very quickly, and I've inked them up over the last sort of like week and been using them. And it's great to have a little bit more variety. I've still got a couple of the pens inked from tour. They're sort of coming towards the end of their time in my rotation, and then we'll sort of move through. But I have my Rickshaw Bags pen case thing here. It's fully loaded up. I think it's about 13 pens in all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on the other angle, because it's actually a better way of looking at the pens other than me holding them up here in front of my face. But yeah, so these are the pens I've currently got inked, and let's check them out. So I have my Rickshaw Bagworks pen bag here. As there's about 13 pens inked, so I'm just going to randomly take one out at a time and do a little writing sample for you. So we'll start with one here in the front. This is the Kaweco Sport. This was the Sage version that was an exclusive to Milligram a number of years ago. Slightly different to the modern Sage version. But what I've also done here, I think I might have shown this previously, is that I took a double broad nib there, and I ground it into an Architect myself, and I love it a lot. So we have the Kaweco Sport, and I'll just put X Milligram, and this is the Sage. This has a double broad ground to an Architect nib. And the ink I have in this today is one of my favorites. It's Diamine 1864 Blue Black. Really love this pen model. Much more than I ever sort of thought I probably would do. You can see there with the Architect grind, you get the narrow downstrokes and the wider cross strokes. I love this model. I love this version, the green version. I also work at Milligram, so it's sort of nice to have a bit of sort of history in my pocket when I work there. And with this Architect grind, it's unique to me. I've sort of ground it to how I hold the pen and to get a nice bit of shape in my writing. The next one out of the front of the bag here is from Gravitas Pens, and this is the Quark, and this is the Ultim version of the Quark. I had this one on tour, and I'm still using it because it's sort of like, I don't use this for long journaling. I take it for, sort of short note taking and jotting down ideas and things like that. So the ink has remained pretty good in it. So we've got the Gravitas Pens Quark, and this is I think this is a fine nib, and the ink in this is another Diamine. It is Diamine Imperial Purple. Really cool ink, and a really lovely pen. I enjoy this pen. I like the weight of it. I like the size of it. I like the convenience of it. And Ultim's just a cool material, and Gravitas Pens, they make amazing pens. They really are astonishing. And now with their connection with PenVenture, Emmy over there, the availability and the shipping and everything, customer service is just going to go through the roof. It's going to be amazing. So they're poised for really, really great things. But yes, the Gravitas Pens Quark. So the next pen I pulled out here is the TWSBI Eco Irish Green with Onyx. I really like this pen. It's just a standard Eco, except for the fact that it's got black furniture and nib and that beautiful rich green material. So we have the TWSBI Eco Irish Green, green. This is a medium nib, and if you saw my little video about this the other day, you'll know that this ink is Montblanc Irish Green. Couldn't have a pen named Irish Green and not put the Irish Green ink in it. Great ink. I absolutely love this ink. It's probably one of my favorites of the Montblanc. Those inks that they they still have, but you know, I'm still working through the original bottles and all those kinds of things. I really enjoy this ink, and in this pen, I think it's a really great match. So I think the Bronze Indigo Eco was my favorite, but this is probably going to be a close second at this point. Until they come out with a matte purple version, this is very good. So next in here is another one I had on tour with me. This is the EL1 from that pen bloke. I really like this material, the chatoyance there and everything, and it's the pen bloke's sort of a entry-level fountain pen. They're sort of more affordable material, simple clean lines, all that kind of stuff. Nice simple steel nib on it. Just a really great pen. EL1. This is also a fine nib. And the ink in this now is Esterbrook Cobalt, which is an ink I'm trying out. I don't know if I love it or not yet. It's a nice sort of rich grey toned blue, I suppose you could say. You know, it's nice, and it's a good match for this pen as well. I think it writes slightly nicer than the Sailor ink I had in it previously, but you're still not the perfect ink for this pen just yet. Next is the Asvine V126. Now, when I reviewed this pen, I had to sort of, as soon as I'd finished reviewing it, I had to put it away into storage, and I was really looking forward to coming back to it because I think I really enjoyed it when I was reviewing it and spending that sort of few weeks writing with it quite a lot. And I can safely say I still feel that way, absolutely. This is the Asvine V126. And this has a medium steel nib on it. And the ink in this is Diamine Aurora Borealis. This ink, oh, so beautiful, and this pen is so lovely. It's got a nice vac filling system. It's got a really great aesthetic. This sort of matte acrylic is really lovely. It's a simple clean lined pen, nothing sort of particularly fancy about it or particularly revolutionary. It just writes really beautifully well, nice and wet, beautifully smooth. What's not to like about that pen? Next, we have another Australian pen, and this is from Platypus Pens. This is another one of those ones that when I reviewed it, I had to sort of put it away quite quickly afterwards into storage, and I absolutely love it. The engineering that has gone into this pen, it's just phenomenal. Michael over there is a genius. 3D printing every element of, or just about every element of the pen. Nice Schmidt nib, well tuned, all of that. Great filling system. Watch the review for more information about this. I'll try and remember to link a few of the reviews of these pens down below. But just amazing. Great pen. So we have the Platypus Pens Model 20. This has a lovely broad nib on it, and the ink in this is Robert Oster Kids on the Block. This is a brand new ink to me. This is the first time I've had it in a pen, and I haven't really got to know it yet, but I can see it's quite a wet ink. It's got some interesting shading, but you know, I think it's probably one of the more aggressive inks I've had from Robert Oster, but an interesting one, and it writes beautifully in this beautiful Model 20 pen from Platypus Pens. While we're on Australian pens, here is this one. This is the Roncari Pens Hybrid. Absolutely adore this pen. The combination of the woods and acrylics and things, it's just absolutely stunning. The craftsmanship is absolutely amazing. I have another Roncari Pens pen to review in a couple of months. I was going to review it this past month, but it's had to be bumped back for a couple of reasons. So we've got the Roncari Pens Hybrid. This one also has a fine nib, and the ink in this is Diamine Burnt Sienna. I really enjoy these sort of red toned brown inks, and I think it's an absolutely glorious match for this pen. Really beautiful pen, really lovely ink, a joy to use. Once again, watch the review of this pen. Okay, moving to one of my favorite recent pens. This is the Astro Gem from Benu, and this is the Echo finish. I loved it because it kind of looks like a bit like Earth at Night from what it would look like from space, and it's got a spacey kind of theme given the the idea of the pen. Once again, watch the review. But this is the Benu Astro Gem Echo with a fine nib, lots of fine nibs. A lot of the writing I'm doing at the moment is more about the writing, and fines sort of tend to fit that for me. The ink in this one is Pilot Iroshizuku Tsukiyo. I have really fallen for this ink in the last, sort of 6 months or so. I've used it a lot in different pens. It's always great. It's beautiful. It's sort of a dusty tealy blue, light blue, blacky kind of color. Very much in my wheelhouse. I really enjoy it. So yeah, great pen and great ink. And now the last of sort of the Australian pens, but also the pens I had on tour. This is the Marks Innovative Gear, or MIG copper fountain pen. This pen is a great EDC pen. I've really loved carrying it with me. It's been really handy, and it's just one of those pens that I've really enjoyed using. Innovative Gear, sorry. And, sort of has a nice heft in the hand. It's super well built. I quite like the design. It's simple, as I said, EDC, really enjoy it. And the ink is the same as I had in this for almost every time I've used this pen. It is Diamine Ancient Copper. Now, something I found really interesting is that Ancient Copper is one of those inks that tends to crud up a little bit in the nib. And I've had this ink in this pen over 4 months. Gone through different cartridges of it, and sometimes you might go a few days without writing with it, sometimes maybe a week, because I've also got other pens inked and things like that. Never had any issue with crudding or drying out or anything like this. So the seal on this pen, you can see there's a little like O-ring just in there. I don't know if that'll show up on the camera, but it's all beautifully made, beautifully finished, and great job, and a great pen. Okay, so we have 3 pens to go. One more on this page, and that is this one. This is the Heinz Pen Company pen I reviewed a number of years ago now. It was modeled off the Elementar model. It's slightly different, but I've always really liked it. And what I liked is the sort of like that anodized nib and clip that match with this diamond cast material. It's just a beautiful pen. As I said, it's beautifully sort of well made. It's a great size. It's an interesting pen, and it's definitely one of those pens that is a conversation starter. So we have here the Heinz Pen Company. I'll say the Elementar because that's what it was originally modeled off. It's got a nice medium nib on it, and the ink in this is a new one for me. It's Van Diemen's ink, and this is Dr. David Livingstone. This is from the Explorer series from Van Diemen's ink. It's a really interesting ink. I think it's quite beautiful. It's got some nice tone to it. Stay tuned for a video about, a very quick video about some of these inks that I've got to look at. So we'll flip over this page for the last couple of pens here. And the first is this one, which I recently reviewed. This is the Caran d'Ache 849. I hadn't reviewed this, and then Milligram started carrying Caran d'Ache, and so I picked one up. I bought it myself and everything, and decided to do a review, and I'm glad I did. It cleared up a number of things for me, but also it's an interesting pen. So the Caran d'Ache 849 with a fine nib. And the ink in this is Caran d'Ache. I think it's Idyllic Blue. I think I've spelt that wrong. Really interesting pen. I quite like the nib. I like how the nib feels on the page. It's got a real pencily feedback, and I really like this ink, and I'm really glad that it's just a cartridge that came with the pen, and I'm really glad I put it in there. I've been using it quite a lot, and I enjoy it a lot, and I'll probably end up getting a bottle of this ink, or at least some more cartridges, depending on what I can actually get my hands on, because I think it's a really cool blue. I like it a lot. It's nothing particularly new or interesting, but it's just a really nice blue ink. Okay, and we come to the last pen I have inked, and it is the Diplomat Excellence A2. I have missed this pen. I really, really love this as like a everyday writer. Diplomat Excellence A2 with a beautiful, big, bold, wet, medium nib. And the ink in this is another Iroshizuku. It is Yamabudo. This is one of those pen and ink combinations that sort of feels absolutely perfect. I've had it in this pen a number of times. It's a beautiful, rich ink at the best of times, but in this lovely wet pen, you just get such depth of color, and it is such a joy to write with this pen. I love the weight. I love the width of the section. The balance is perfect, and it just feels so nice to write with. And this ink is just, as I said, such a great, great match. That wasn't the last one. There's one more hiding in the bottom of my bag. The Lamy Safari. This is the Terra Red. I love this version with the black trim, and I love having this inked up with black ink. And Lamy Black is such a great, simple, everyday black. This is one of those sort of perfect everyday writing pens. This travels with me in my pencil case, in my bag, so I've always got a pen on hand. So we have the Lamy Safari. Let's put Terra in an extra fine nib, and the ink is Lamy Black. Perfect. As I said, great everyday writer because it's an extra fine nib. It writes pretty well on just about everything. This ink writes well. I've never really had any issues with it drying out. It's always sort of just there, and I really, really enjoy that. So that was my little collection of pens I've got inked at the moment. We had the Kaweco Sport, the Gravitas Quark, the TWSBI Eco in Irish Blue, that Penbloke EL1, the Asvine 126, the Platypus Pens Model 20, the Roncari Pens Hybrid, the Benu Pens Astro Gem Echo, the Marks Innovative Gear Copper Fountain Pen, the Heinz Pen Company, beautiful Elementar there. Then we had the Caran d'Ache 849, the Diplomat Excellence A2, and the Lamy Safari. So that was a bit of a quick look through the pens I currently have inked, a few there from Tour and a number of sort of ones I've been looking forward to using a bit more. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. If you'd like to support the channel, I would love to hear from you. A big thank you to a number of the brands who provided a number of these pens over the last little while for review. And if you'd like to support it, yeah, let me know. There's lots of ways that you can, and it all helps make these videos possible. So until next time, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.